What's up, everybody? Welcome to S.W.A.T MMA, smoking weed and talking mixed martial arts. My name is Jared. I'm here with my buddy Paul.
What up?
We're coming to you, as usual, from the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is episode number 67, and we are going to be talking all about the upcoming UFC 251 coming from Fight Island, also known as Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, headlined by 3 title fights plus a pretty decent undercard all the way down. Before we get into all that, we're going to get started with our weed of the week.
Smoke weed every day.
This week, we got one kind of flower and 2 kinds of concentrates. Our flower is the Fire OG, which is a cross of OG Kush and San Fernando Valley OG. Concentrates, what's the shadow we got today?
I've got some lemon drop here. I've got some diamonds here. And I've got some sauce. So we got it all.
We got it all. I know diamonds are Skittles, and lemon drop, I think, is a sativa, isn't it?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, let me hit this. We got this. We got a joint, we got a pipe, we got a bong, we got a PAX 3, we got a dab rig. Hope you're smoking on something good, too. Let's fire it up, and let's get started with the fact that it's finally here, dude.
Yep.
After all this hype, not quite what we thought it would be a couple months ago, but the so-called Fight Island is here. We got 4 cards coming from Abu Dhabi, starting with this one, 251.
And there's also a little bit of last minute, midnight mania, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, because we had the 170-pound title was on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the co-main was the 145-pound title,
Yep.
and then we got the 135-pound title up for grabs also.
Yeah.
But the main event, what happened? Who was it to begin with?
Main event originally was Kamaru Usman versus
Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns, of course.
Yeah.
Now we're drawing blank now, but Gilbert Burns, and then unfortunately about 3 days ago, Gilbert Burns came down with the Rona, bro, and he tested positive, and he said he was dealing with some serious symptoms up till today.
So 3 days ago from this recording would put that about, 9 days out from the fight?
I think it was last Friday.
Yeah, he comes down with the corona. Was he feeling sick, or did it just show up on a test, or do we know?
No, he said he was feeling sick. He said he still is feeling sick. I don't know.
Well, hopefully he recovers well, but as far as it affects the sports world that we're talking about, that screwed everything up.
Screwed everything up because then you had a so let's just break it down this way. So the way this Fight Island plan was to be for the fighters was they were going to come out 2 weeks before, 14 days exactly from the fight.
Okay.
They would be tested 15 days before the fight, where they would fly to Las Vegas. So on the 15th
they come here
day,
first on the 15 days out and get tested.
15 days out, they get tested and they fly to Vegas.
Okay.
And then 14 days out, they all get on a UFC charter plane, which was basically fucking a giant fat-ass plane with all the fighters on first class, 15 seats apart from each other, and all the coaches and team members in third class. So second, middle class.
The middle area is going to be blank.
Pretty much blank.
Okay.
So there would be no chance of. Well, and I'd imagine some people were spread because I've never flown on a plane. Just gonna throw that out there. So
you've never flown on a plane?
Nope, never.
Ever in your life?
Nope, I've driven everywhere I've ever been. Always, never flown.
So
I
you
don't
just
really
threw that out there like that's
just,
super casual. Like,
yeah.
by the way, I've never flown.
Yeah,
I'm like,
pretty much.
wow, that's crazy.
But I'd imagine with the separation of seats, there had to be at least a few people in the middle.
Yeah, this is probably a few flights we're talking about then. This is a lot of people.
No, they said it's just one fat ass plane.
It must be a big, big boy.
Yeah.
Damn.
All
right.
So then from there, they fly to Yas Island where they would be tested again and, go through the week. Throughout the week, they're in a quote-unquote bubble.
Yeah, I've heard it's like a 10 mile. Is it 10
10
miles?
to 15-mile radius around where they're staying and where it's going to be held, where everyone in the area is tested and is tested negative. People, which is where I go back to Gilbert Burns, is at least he didn't get over there and find out. He found out while he was still here, so nobody is affected as far as everyone else.
Yeah, as far as all the other fighters happen to be quarantined and retested again and whatever else that came in contact with it.
But the problem is now Kamaru Usman was not on that charter jet.
Right. So he's not out there following the same protocol as everybody else.
Well, he's in Vegas because he got his corona test, but he's not on his way to Abu Dhabi. So then, like I said, a little bit of Midnight Mania goes on. Random tweet comes out from Ariel Helwani that this is a long shot, but there's a chance Jorge Masvidal's team has reached out to me and said they're interested in fighting Kamaru Usman. As a side note, Colby Covington's team also contacted Ariel's team and told them to put out the information that he wants to fight and he's in contract negotiations with the UFC.
So we got
2 guys who were one's fought the champ already and was very, very close fight.
Very close fight, Colby versus Usman, yeah.
And then
close
you got
fight.
George, who this fight literally was for anyways.
Yeah, this was scheduled beforehand. And then they couldn't reach an agreement on the contract.
Here. This was supposed to be international
Right, supposed to be
fight
here
week.
in Vegas, yeah.
This would have been International Fight Week.
Right.
So George, this is a short notice fight, but it really isn't. He's been in training camp because up till what they announced this fight only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's actually fighting the fight he was scheduled to fight this whole time at the time that he was originally scheduled to fight it.
Now,
like
could he
took
his foot off the gas? Yeah, but
well, let's hope he didn't, because what we wind up now is what we wanted all along.
But he did get that work in with like that guy I was telling you about from
with all those wrestlers,
with
right?
Bo Nickel from Penn State. He went up there. He went all the way up to fucking
Masvidal did.
Pennsylvania, and fucking got that work in with him, bro. So I don't know.
That's smart.
He's and that American Top Team has some legit wrestlers. Steve Mocco was a fucking one of the best heavyweights
Colby,
ever.
He's not there now, but he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was training with Colby for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Colby's a great wrestler.
Yeah, and so when it comes down to these two, I think the UFC kind of just saw it as, we're having contract disputes with George, but like if he steps in here, he's saving our ass, because not only is this a huge fight that should have been happening altogether, but now we don't have the biggest fight on the biggest weekend that we've been put all this ad revenue in,
right,
and all these commercials and all this shit in for people to want to see this Fight Island, and if the fucking main event falls out, that is utter disaster.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
And so I think the UFC kind of folded here and paid George a nice amount that he wanted.
Yeah, he said he came out on First Take, said he was real happy with it, and I don't think he's just going to bullshit that after how vocal he's been since then. I mean, that's the whole reason the fight originally wasn't signed.
That's why a lot of these guys are still sitting out.
Yeah, and that's the reason why Jones, Cejudo, etc., taking a bit of a break. McGregor, not really. I guess he doesn't fall into that category. But at any rate, the fight's signed. It's done. It's happening. COVID tests were passed.
Mm-hmm.
I assume they're flying out there probably today,
as we speak,
as we're recording right now. And let's hope that Masvidal stayed in shape. I tend to think he would.
He said on First Take this morning he's got 20 pounds to cut. That's not that bad.
That's not that bad for a pro like him.
Yeah, and well, here's the thing too, is he's not gonna have to cut all 20 of those pounds. He's gonna sweat off probably 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And then 13 to 15 is what he's going to actually have to water cut, which fucking sucks, by the way. Like, for everyone, like, I'm making it sound like it's an easy thing because I grew up, like, wrestling, and I've seen people do that in 4 days, 3 days, that 20 pounds. So it's like, I've seen people do it in 2 days, actually. But the thing is, it's not easy. Like, if he does it that way, I don't know though, because fucking Usman cuts a lot of weight too, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
They might be cutting the same amount.
I was lucky. I boxed at like 7 pounds, about max below my walking around weight. Was the most.
Well, like weight cutting is not as big a thing.
So
in boxing.
I'm talking about cutting maybe 3-4 pounds by the time you're done sweating.
Like if you really look at it, not a lot of boxers cut weight.
Not much, especially these days. Like I was a while ago. Now we got so many more weight classes too.
Canelo's moving up, but before he cut weight,
you've got weight classes with
everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's every, 3 pounds now? 4 pounds?
It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
it's like 154.
So there's not much
147.
they ever got to really cut unless they're trying to get a big size advantage. But I think he'll do that fine. Usman, I mean, he's
Usman's
built like
probably
a
cutting
tank.
around the same amount.
And George has a different body type too. He's not real muscular. He's not like Usman. Usman looks like he's got no fat on his body.
Yeah.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
It'd be a tough cut. George, I mean, he's not some specimen. He's not a physical specimen. It's probably not as tough.
He
of a
fought
cut
155 for a long
because
time
of
because
that,
people
I would
said he
think.
was too small.
Yeah. So I'm happy. I'm not happy Gilbert Burns got to COVID. I'm happy we're getting the fight I wanted to begin with. I think Burns had a good chance of beating Usman personally, and I'm a fan. But let's be honest, we wanted the BMF champ to unify, so to speak, these two titles in the 170 division with the real champ.
Yeah.
And I pray to God he wins. Look,
I
like
want
Usman,
George to
man.
win.
We met him. He's a cool dude.
I don't really fuck with Usman that much.
I think he's a great fighter.
I think he's a good wrestler.
But I want the fucking BMF champ to be the champ.
Oh yeah,
The real champ.
I want
of the
George to win this
170s.
fight.
I like Masvidal.
I think it's in the UFC's best interest George wins this fight too,
Well, hell yeah, it is.
because you know what this sets up. You know what this sets up.
Connor?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Connor and George for the BMF and the UFC welterweight strap, bro.
Connor doesn't want to wait
It would
around
be
anyways
the
for the
biggest-
winner of.
Bro, it would be the biggest fight ever.
Connor's stuck waiting for the winner of Gaethje Khabib, if that happens.
Bro, I think it would do like
He'll skip that for the BMF.
it would shit on Connor's Jose numbers. I think.
It would definitely do over $1 million.
I think it would shit on his number one numbers. What was that? Khabib?
I think it was Khabib.
I think it would shit on that.
I think he did 1.9 and then a 2.0 with Khabib. I'm not certain.
I
Million.
think it would be like 2.5 if he fought fucking George.
It could very well be.
Especially if we're in COVID. Oh my god! If it happens during COVID times, it will sell 4 billion pay-per-views. They'll start handing it out for free everywhere. Everyone will want to see it. If we're all locked down and Conor McGregor and fucking George Masvidal fight, because I feel like if George wins this fight, he's got to come in and fucking knock Usman out quick. Because the longer it goes, I think the smaller chance George wins as longer it goes. Like,
You think Usman grind him out with the wrestling?
not only that, I think George's shots get a little bit taken off him when he, like,
As he fatigues a bit?
yeah.
Sure.
But that's normal in a 5-round fight.
Yeah, I can't. Right.
Basically, what I'm saying is I think he'll punch himself out if it goes 5 rounds.
When's the last time he was in a 5-rounder? It's been a little while.
I don't think he
He's
ever
been
has.
knocking fools out lately.
I don't think he ever has.
He might not have been because it's a championship fight. Those are championship rounds. This is his first title shot.
Yeah, and I don't think when
I mean,
he
he's
was...
had main event fights, but I don't know if that was when they were 5-rounders.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that Nate fight would have been his first 5-rounder, and he didn't
Yeah,
go
he's been
5.
scheduled in one with Nate, but that was 3.
Yeah.
You think Usman can take those punches in the early rounds?
Fuck no. I think Usman's going to get dropped quick. I think it's gonna come. He's going to come out, and he's just going to start throwing bombs right away.
Did Colby drop Usman? I seem to think that he
Sorta.
did, or they might have said it was a fall.
It was a slip, I
a
think.
slip.
But I'm not sure.
Colby's not. I mean, he's not known as a big puncher.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Is Colby pieced Usman up on the feet for a little bit there.
He did.
If he comes out there and tries to strike with George, I think he's going to get smacked up. I think it's going to have to be a wrestling fest.
You know, another good thing if George wins is it takes a champion out of Abdul Aziz's stable.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Masvidal's with
He's with the
Malik Kawi. Kawi,
Yeah.
how you say his name?
Malky.
Malky.
Yeah,
Something like that.
he is. Yeah, for sure. And Abraham, too.
Yeah.
I think
That's
Abraham's the one who fucking represents him. I think his brother just owns the management thing.
It could be.
Yeah.
Either way, that's a good thing, too.
Yeah. That's the same dudes who represent John Jones, Yoel, Mike Perry.
Yeah. Do you think Usman is taking Masvidal seriously?
He fucking better. I don't give a fuck if he is or isn't. The thing is, he better because, like, after what happened to Nate, dude, like, I think all that like, not saying I was someone who subscribed to this, but there was a lot of talk out there that, like, those 2 KOs over Till and fucking Askren were like, all right, dude, those were kind of lucky.
Yeah, I've heard the talk. I don't believe him, but.
But then when he went out and just pieced Nate Diaz the fuck up, like he was like some
That fight wasn't
amateur,
even
bro.
close, man. I love Nate, but man, he
I love Nate too, but like,
bro.
I don't even understand this narrative of a rematch. I don't even
either.
Get
that fight wasn't close, man. He got
fucking mollywop, bro. Like that was bad. Like there was never a second in that fight.
Yeah,
never a second in that fight where I was like, "Wow, Nate's gonna take it here." Like,
no, I didn't remember a spot where I was like, "Oh yeah, go."
Remember,
Nate's
I texted you. I was like, "Wow, this is rough." I was like,
rough,
it was bad. It was like McGregor Diaz too. If Diaz never came back and just kept getting beat up like he was in the first two rounds,
right?
Like literally.
Yeah, that was tough.
Like that's really what like I could compare it to because it was very similar. Like I do think Masvidal was hitting Nate with bigger shots though. Fucking Masvidal, he's got dynamite in his hands out of nowhere. Like I've never seen him throw with the fucking power that he has now.
Yeah, whenever he switched up, when he took his little hiatus and did that game show and then he came back, man, yeah, decided he was going to switch things up. It's definitely paid off high dividends. Well, I think
I like
you're right.
his shit talk too.
I do too. It's pretty authentic shit talk. I mean, he amps it up a little bit, obviously, just like they all do, but
yeah,
it's super authentic.
You see that little encounter him and Usman got into at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
They've been playing that a lot lately.
Have they?
And something something he said to Usman that I thought was fucking hilarious. It was Usman had just fought Colby, so he fucking all casted up, right? On his left hand. And Usman's like, "What? You little bitch. You won't fight me right now?" He's like, "I'm not going to hurt you while you got that cast on. Because when I get a chance, I'm going to fuck you."
Oh.
He's like, "Whoa." I was like, "Whoa, he's going to fuck him, man. That's rough. That's some Mike Tyson shit, bro."
He's just like, "I'm going to fuck you."
I'm going to fuck you up, man.
Oh.
I was like, "Whoa."
Oh, no. That's tough.
Masvidal's fucking intense. I like, he's got that, like, it was dope. He's dope. But
I'd love to see him as champ, dude. That's sick.
I think the biggest fight in UFC history is him and Conor.
Under those circumstances, I would agree.
Like,
I don't know if he goes out there and gets whooped up on by Usman or something. That fight with Conor loses a lot of shine. But
yep.
As a matter of fact,
I think Conor would just fight him and retire.
Dude, George has to win. This is his moment, man. His whole career has led up to this. Like, the BMF thing is cool, and he's played that, and he played out that KO over Askren and the KO over Till. He's done all that perfectly. Like, he put in hard work, and then he had great results. But now he's gotten a little bit of luck on his side, which is good. He's got this BMF thing, which he can thank Nate again for. Yeah. It wasn't like George thought it up. Nate created that shit out of thin air. And George gets to ride the wave, so that's a little bit luck there. You know what I mean? And that's what you need to have your big moment. You need to have hard work, you need to have skills, and you need to have a little bit of luck, right?
Yeah.
All that shit's got to come together. Well, he's got it right here, right
This
fucking
is the
here.
shot.
Because if he loses this, you know what everybody's going to say? He was never nothing. It was just a couple lucky KOs, which I don't agree with. But that'll be those people saying that those were lucky KOs. They'll be like, see? And he beat up Nate. Everybody beats Nate is what they'll say, which I don't agree with that either. But... And I don't want to see that narrative. I would like the narrative for George to be like, this motherfucker turned out to be the man all along.
Yeah,
like,
he
he got his just dues after all this hard work, you know. And then when he got his moment, he played it perfect.
Yeah.
That'd be
All
sick.
right,
I love a story like that. I'm gonna predict Masvidal, but I'm gonna put it out a little bit. I'm gonna do Masvidal decision.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right? No. Crazy, because I think that's the least likely thing to happen. Yeah, and then there you go.
All right, well, I'm going Masvidal KO in the first minute.
The first minute, wouldn't that be crazy?
I guarantee you he's gonna come out and just fucking bulldoze him.
Dude, if he comes out and does that, that's what the fan in me would love. That'd be sick. That would be awesome. All right, Let's move on.
Listening to him on First Take, I listened to him on 3 different shows this morning on ESPN.
Yeah.
And the way he spoke, like, it just resonated with me. I was like, wow, he's really gonna go out there and fuck him up. He was like,
I hope so.
like he's just gonna. He just seemed like he was like, he kept saying one thing. He kept saying, he's like, I promise you, it's going to be violent. That's what he said to every single person. He said that to Greeny. He said that to First Take. He said it to Dan Le Batard. He said, I promise you guys, it's going to be violent. And I'm going to hurt this man. So those kind of words just like scream, I'm going to fuck this guy up. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I'm excited.
Well, let's drop down to the co-main event of the night, a rematch for the featherweight title. We got Alexander Volkanovski taking on Max Holloway. What do you think?
I don't know. Max is saying weird stuff about Zoom training and all kinds of nonsense.
What do you mean?
He's been training on Zoom in his house with his coaches, basically, as far as I understand it, which is silly. That's nonsense.
Is it though? Because
yes,
Not
yes,
if-
it is. I don't care what anybody says. That's not
Not
the
if
same
he's got
thing as
the
being in the gym with your crew.
it's not if he's got the equipment in his house. Like
Oh,
if
no.
he's standing in front of his fucking TV with nothing, just throwing fucking
Well, yeah, it's
shadow
not like
punches.
me and you.
Yeah,
But
no.
I mean,
But if he's like at home on a bag or a speed bag or a heavy bag and like, or he's got
better than
his
nothing.
brother training with him or something, while he fucking just has his coach on Zoom giving him instructions, I don't see the big deal with that.
I don't think it's a big deal. Volkanovski says he believes this bullshit anyways. Thinks he's just making up stories to,
Yeah, probably.
to saying
Get
shit.
into his head.
But, dude, I like Max a lot, but I think Max's future is at 155. And
Yeah,
I think
I think this what
Volkanovski
pushes
is
him
going
here.
to do even better in this fight. And
Oh,
really,
really?
I take that dude very, very seriously. I think Volkanovski is going to be the man for a minute.
Think so.
I think he's something different. And we've talked about it before, but just to recap, I think what makes him different is his former size
Yeah.
being reduced so far down. It's not like he was like a big dude that got in shape.
Yeah.
Like Khalil Roundtree was 350.
Yeah, and got in shape,
because he was
yeah.
fat and out of shape. And then he,
Yeah.
But this is a guy who was a 205-pound rugby
Jacked
player,
fucking- yeah.
jacked as fuck.
Yeah.
And he was a pro athlete at that level. And then he drops down muscle mass till he can make 145. And I just think he's different. And I think that difference for a minute
Yeah.
will keep him champ for a little while.
Think so.
I think his power is just on a different level. And I just think he's stronger. Mixed with a lot of skill, of course.
You know what I don't get about this fight is
What's
the
that?
fucking just straight disrespect for Alex Volkanovski as a champion. Like no one is really giving him the kind of championship buzz that other champions get.
It's weird.
Like it seems like Max is still a champion
It
in
does.
everyone's eyes, which is bullshit. It's fucked
Well,
up.
Alex handily won that fight. He's
Yeah.
He's an incredible fighter. Another one out of isn't he out of Israel Adesanya's gym as
Yeah.
well?
Well, he does half and half
was
there.
it
and
City
somewhere else.
Kickboxing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in like one of their affiliates in. He's not like
Okay.
at the same
He's
one.
not at the same gym, but it's
yeah,
the same,
but it's affiliated.
it's the same
yeah.
group of gyms
Yeah.
affiliated together.
Yeah.
Same team.
They
so to
all
speak.
train together sometimes, but he does like half his work in New Zealand and half in Australia.
Okay.
Relight this hope. But yeah, I just don't understand the disrespect for him because it's like people are just like not giving him what his due is, man. Have you seen? Usually, when someone wins win a championship, they're the first on Fight Pass. They're the like featured fighter, and the UFC does a bunch of interviews with them and shit like that because they're the new champion. And I just feel like with all the work they've done in that part of the world, obviously I don't watch TV over there, so I don't know. Maybe he is on their version of MMA shows and shit like that, but I just don't feel like he's gotten the buzz over here that he should have.
Me neither. And I think the UFC would desperately like Max Holloway to win. Just
Yeah.
because in their eyes he's a more marketable guy. Him and his son are super cute together. It checks a lot of boxes.
And he's beat everybody though.
Yeah. That's just the way the UFC rolls. I mean, who are they? I mean, they still don't get behind their heavyweight champ, for God's sake. Even in the middle of all this, you'd think they'd be like, our heavyweight champ is out saving lives. I mean,
Yeah, no.
how easy is that? I mean, Modelo is still doing better stuff than the UFC. Did
Yeah.
you see the Modelo Amanda Nunes commercial? Mm-hmm. It's a great commercial, man.
Yep.
More than UFC's ever done to, like, promote her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Weird.
it's bizarre. And they do the same thing, but
The
in
only
their eyes, they
promotion
still
the
think Max
UFC
more
does is
marketable.
like fight, like pre-fight videos. Like that's
Yeah.
like you have to have a scheduled fight to get promoted by the UFC, pretty much.
It's so weird when they're owned by a talent agency.
Yeah, it is strange.
Fuck are you? But anyways,
But so
I agree. Alex is not getting the respect he's due, and I think he wins this one.
think so.
Yeah, I think he wins it pretty handily, and I think Max, he's still young. He's like 28. He's got a lot of fight, but he's 5'11". He's still trying to stretch it down to 155
Yeah.
or 145. Take some time off, not like the Poirier fight where he was still a featherweight who
Yeah.
just didn't cut weight and
Yeah.
fought at 55. Become a legit like Poirier did.
Yeah.
Put on some muscle mass. He's got plenty of frame to work with.
Yeah, for
He's,
sure.
he's lanky as fuck,
Yeah,
and I think his future lies there.
I could see it. But I think one thing that Max Holloway didn't do in that fight that could change and or win him this fight is if he's able to check the leg kicks and get his rhythm. Because one thing that Volkanovski did really well in their last fight was like those teep kicks that just like got Max's weight off his front foot
Yeah.
and kind of made him stumble, and then Volkanovski would throw his. And don't get me wrong, Max hit him. It was a real. I don't know I know you think it was pretty handily won by Alex, but I thought it was a pretty fucking close decision.
I mean, it was a decision. I don't mean he like kicked his ass all over the place, but
Yeah.
when the
I
fight was
literally-
over, I was like, "Oh, Volkanovski won that."
I literally
wasn't-
went into the main event going,
wasn't
I don't
questioning.
know how you score that as a judge. After that, I literally said that. I remember I think I texted you that too. I was like, dude, I don't
so.
know
I don't
how. I don't know who won that fight. I don't know who ever was in that fight who had any momentum on either one side. It was kind of fairly even, like, whereas each guy would be like, boom, boom, boom. Oh, boom, 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 right back. Oh, right back, right back, right back. The only thing that was different was the leg kicks by Volkanovski. Like, literally, if you look across that fight, most of the stats were pretty darn fucking close. And I think if Max is able to just get going, I think it could be a long night.
Max is definitely a rhythm fighter, and I thought that Volkanovski did a very good job of keeping him out of that rhythm last time.
Yeah, for sure. Those little teeps, those were like everything, because they were throwing pretty fucking even. Let's see.
Total strikes was 157 for Volkanovski, 135 for what's his name?
Max.
I don't know. I'm like literally looking at his name on my phone. I'm like, what's his name? I'm fucking high.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that just shows they were pretty active on both sides. 156 and 135 punches is pretty fucking active on both
Volkanovski
sides.
landed a higher percentage, 52 to 44.
Still,
percent
52 to
wise.
44 is like hard to tell when you're a judge watching a fight. That's both guys pretty much hitting half their punches. You know, the judges don't get these compy stats. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I remember watching it. I just thought that, I mean, it wasn't a blowout, like I said, but I thought Volkanovski
Yeah.
clearly won 3. But it's been a while since I've seen that fight. But either way, I think he wins this one. You picking Holloway to get it
yeah, I'm
back?
taking Holloway by decision.
Decision. Yeah, I'm going decision as well.
I don't think either of these guys have the chance of getting stopped here. This is not going to happen.
No.
Next
Well, that brings
fight,
us
I
to
think,
our
is a
third.
fucking wipe.
Our third title fight, which is for the vacant 135-pound strap.
I think Petr Yan's going to fucking wipe Jose Aldo.
Yeah, we've got Jose Aldo versus Petr Yan. It's still the controversial title fight to me. Aldo has no business being there. Even Cejudo's like, yeah, he shouldn't be there.
No.
I mean, he's coming
This
off
should be
back-to-back
Aljo's
losses. It's only here on rep alone.
Yeah.
It should be Aljo versus Yan for the championship. But it is what it is. I agree with you. I think Petr Yan's going to jack him up pretty bad.
I think it's going to be a wipe. I think Yan knocks him out in the first round.
I could see something like that happening. He's no joke. And Aldo, yeah.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
Just, yeah.
yeah. Fuck him.
I mean, I don't think we should be getting title shots on reputation. I
No.
mean, especially in a division filled with contenders.
Absolutely.
Like, what are we doing? This is nonsense.
Why is he not fighting? Why was he not fighting Corey Sandhagen? Why is
Yeah, why doesn't he go rematch Moraes again? Everybody says he
Yeah.
won that fight. Oh, okay.
Rematch him.
Well,
Do
let's
it.
do a rematch
Yeah,
then.
win it.
While they fight
Yeah.
for the title, and then the
Yep.
winner fights for the title. How about
Yeah.
that? There you go.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't even argue about that. I'd be
Yeah.
like, cool.
Well, because we're past the point of
This is
it
nonsense.
being Henry Cejudo's legacy and it being a legacy fight for him. That's
right,
gonna
him trying
that's
to get
gonna,
that reputation
cement,
off of Aldo
like,
winning.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now it's just nonsense.
Beyond that.
There's
at
no
this
excuse
point, because
now.
that was the only excuse for that 135-pound
Right.
fight, title fight for Aldo. But now you eliminate Henry Cejudo out of the equation. Why the fuck is Aldo still here? Like, what are we doing?
This pure nonsense fight. It was, once again, the UFC wants particular people to be champions. And
Yeah.
clearly, they would really like it if Aldo won another title.
Why? His pay-per-view numbers were booty
It was
hole.
terrible. Aldo was the lowest selling champ outside of Demetrius Johnson for years until the Conor fight came along.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it doesn't mean he's not a great fighter. It doesn't diminish his accomplishments, but it's also the world that we live in.
Yeah,
like,
for
Aldo's
sure.
not some
He's
big
just
draw.
not- Well, it's also kind of cultural too, because he's never really learned how to speak English very well, and it's hard to market someone who doesn't speak English in America. It's hard. It's hard. It is what it is.
Right. I mean, dude, look at Khabib when he first started. He could,
Even now, Khabib's like, he's known because he beat up Conor. Outside of that, he was not known.
right. No, but I was just saying on the English speaking tip, I respect Khabib's efforts of
attempt,
going out
yeah.
and like really improving his English in order to
Yeah.
become more of a star.
Yeah,
and
true.
reach more fans. That's
Yeah, I
good.
feel
That's
you.
smart, man.
I see what you mean by that.
And Aldo never.
No,
I've never even heard him say one thing.
or even try.
Like he never even like, let me learn something to say.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
In the UFC, I guess I've read some like older stories about him and Dana getting into arguments about him not wanting to do it, like not wanting to learn English and shit.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Do what you want, but then don't just. That's why you're not
Don't
going to
be
be that
surprised,
crossover
yeah.
star, though. I mean,
Don't
come
be
on.
surprised when you're not selling shit.
Right.
But
So yeah, I'm picking Petr Yan KO
Yeah.
as well.
I'm going KO in the first round.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go third round.
Third round, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go third. I think he's gonna
Then
go last a minute.
down the main card, now we have a rematch of a title fight that was not too long ago. And honestly,
This is a weird-
more or less a number one contenders fight here.
Yeah, and that was a weird title fight too. I mean, Andrade versus Rose Namajunas is what we're talking about, in a
Yeah.
fight that Rose was the champion at the time and was piecing her the f up.
I think the first round could have even been like a 10-8 with how bad she was
For
piecing her
Rose,
up.
yeah. Rose was kicking her ass up one side of the octagon. Down there. I remember texting her. I was like, "This is a fucking masterclass in MMA
Yeah.
we are witnessing right now."
But
and
then what happened?
Rose is going for a takedown,
Other way
and
around. Andrade's
Andrade is going for a takedown, and Rose is using this little weird
Kimura.
Kimura
She-
attempt
yeah.
to stop the takedown with, and then Andrade picks her up, and then Rose didn't let go of her arm,
Yeah.
and then she got spiked on her head basically,
Knocked her out.
and it knocked her out. And it was a mistake because if she had let go of the arm, she would have fallen down to the ground, not on her neck in that
Here's the
method.
thing.
And then that was the end of the fight.
Here's the thing. Although I do agree that it was pretty freakish, but Andrade has done that in the past. She's knocked girls out
strong,
with
yeah.
slams, like
That she has.
on multiple occasions.
That she has.
So Rose, although did beat her ass on the feet, this is mixed martial arts, lady. Come on, like
She still would have
you
got
gotta have
slammed
the
hard,
awareness.
and it could have knocked her out that way too, but it
Yeah.
would have been on her back is the only
yeah,
difference.
true.
Instead of her neck or whatever that weird.
Yeah, Andrade is kind of a weird story since then though, because so she wins the belt, right?
Yeah.
Then proceeds to get robbed at gunpoint the same night in Brazil after she won the belt, and I don't like that's fucking crazy. And then
Yep.
ends up getting not getting the rematch because Rose is talking about retiring, which would have been a big rematch at the time for the belt. And then she ends up getting Weili Zhang, but is then forced to fly to China and fight the contender in her hometown.
Fly to China to fight the
in
contender
her
in her
home country.
hometown.
I mean,
in a tough country. I mean, let's be real. We're not.
we're different
PC
time
here. China's
zones,
a
all this shit.
communist
yeah.
country. It's a whole different thing. You're
Yeah, it's crazy.
like
It's,
that's,
they
that's
said
not
there was a
like-
lot of there was a lot of
It's not
shit.
like fighting in
Yeah,
Vegas, man.
No, it's not. And then gets knocked the fuck out in like 45 seconds,
Yeah.
and then now she's got it like I don't know. Here's my thing. I think her confidence is broken at
It's
this
a
point. Is
tough
what it's
spot,
come down
yeah.
to. Is I feel like this is going to be a tough night for her because Rose, I feel like, has completely took time off and rebuilt her psyche and Andrade has kind of been drugged through the ringer ever since their fight.
Yeah, that's no joke. Yeah.
Because now, not only is Weili Zhang still the champion, that knockout of Andrade is on every highlight reel that will ever be played of hers. You know what I mean? Because that was so devastating because nobody saw that coming. No one. Anyone who says they did are lying.
Right.
They're lying.
Right.
Like, there's no way. Nobody saw that. She was ranked 6th in the division at the time. And they just gave it to her because Rose couldn't fight. They didn't like Michelle Waterson. And they didn't want Joanna to fight for the belt yet either. And then, so now we get into this situation where you got to think she might be in a different place mentally.
She could be in Rose if her head is, in the right
Sharp.
spot. Dude, she's really, really good, man. And she's probably
Fucking
only gotten better.
Yeah.
I would assume that her head's going to be in the right spot. I expect it to be Rose Namajunas in a clearly dominant performance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting here. All right, the next fight doesn't have title implications, but it's still a pretty important fight, at least in the career of one of the fighters for certain, and that is Paige Vanzant is making her return from like a really long injury break, dealing with like broken arm after broken arm after broken arm, not healing right, breaking again. Girl's had a ton of surgeries on it, but she's also on the last fight of her contract, which is a big deal because she makes a lot of talk about, and I don't think she's bullshitting, but she talks a lot about how she is currently making more money off of Instagram than she is off of her fights, and that her stint on Dancing with the Stars actually is more money than she's made altogether in her UFC career added up. So she definitely wants to try the free market, and possibly, I think, if she doesn't get what she wants, try to use this platform while she's still got it to launch herself back into that type of thing. So she's fighting Amanda Ribas, who just beat Mackenzie Dern, if I remember correctly.
Yep, and Randa Marcos.
Yeah, and Randa Marcos. So she's quite good at 9-1.
Yep.
And Paige is a little bit of an unknown because she's still a developing fighter. Let's admit it, bro. She got into the UFC way too early.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I don't know if Paige Vanzant's contract dispute holds merit, because I don't think Paige Vanzant is on the level of the top tier of this division that garners the respect of pay-per-view points and large lump sums, shit like that.
I don't know what she's asking for, but I think she's worth more than, I think she gets like 20.
I think she's worth
like 20 G's.
Oh, well, if that's, I see, I don't know, because the way she was talking makes it sound like she was freaking. She deserves like main event money, which I don't.
She definitely doesn't deserve main event money. She doesn't have a main event record.
No.
She has potential. She's a decent fighter. She's not bad. She just got the Sage Northcutt treatment, man. Like, she got into the UFC because, let's face it, I mean, she's super hot, and that sells.
Yeah.
She's super cute, just like Sage Northcutt was like looking like fucking Superman, all good-looking dude, right? Like, then the two of them just were, I mean, they were headlining cards for a minute, and then now, you know, you've got Paige, who I think is, she's done better than Sage has.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, but she's still not, she's not a top-tier fighter yet.
I don't think so.
Unless she's done a lot of improvement over this course of, like, injury break.
Yeah.
She does have potential.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if she can win this
I
fight.
think this is her last fight in the UFC.
This is a real tough fight.
I think this is her last fight in the UFC.
I can't disagree. I kind of got that feeling, too.
Based on what she said in the past and the caliber of opponent she's facing as well, I think this is the last fight in the UFC.
But now here's where, and I think, I don't know, but I would imagine she seems pretty smart. She would be thinking this too. Where I think she could go to a place like Bellator, and she might not get the contracted amount of money from Bellator that she, you know, as some super high number, but that opens the door up to sponsors for her. Yeah. And sponsors for Paige Vanzant is just different.
Yeah.
When it comes to sponsorship ability, she is a superstar.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
she is A level.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
as far like, I mean that's proven, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's really in question. I don't mean she's A level like she's a movie star, but I mean as far as athletes, like she's
Yeah.
one of the top
She's marketable.
marketable athletes in the UFC without a doubt. That's why she's where she's at. So if she looks at it from those eyes, it might be way more profitable for her to leave and go over to a Bellator.
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
And tie in some major endorsements.
And then also she'd be over there with her husband too, who
Right.
so they could play off that as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm taking Amanda Ribas.
Paige is 8-4. Amanda's 9-1. I mean,
I think it's number 10 versus number 11 in the division.
dude, I like Paige Vanzant. I'd like her to go out on a win
No, I
and
don't
go
think so. I
elsewhere.
think
but
Amanda Ribas
I
is
think
trending up,
I
though.
think Amanda's too tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move. So there's a lot of fights on the undercard that have big names on one side and kind of some smaller name fighters on the other side of it. So we're kind of just going to go over the one of these big undercard fights, and that's going to be Volkan Ozdemir versus I don't know how to say this name.
But here, just real quick, I want to just chime in. Paige Vanzant, if you add up her, she was in the WEC as well. If you add that and all of her UFC purses together, dude, she didn't even crack $500,000 in career
Jesus.
earnings. 474,000 since she began in 2014. In
Damn.
6 years, I mean, dude, she's clocking in 70, 80 G's a year max,
Damn.
average. I mean, that might sound good if you're
Without-
waiting tables, but I mean, in the world of
Well,
professional athletes,
Is
that's
that
really
cleared
not-
with fucking paying off managers and camps?
Yeah, no, that's just her purse. That's not after she pays off her
Jesus.
managers in her camp. So
Yeah,
there's
so she really only made like 3, maybe
right.
2.5, and she fights in California, so maybe
Yeah.
2. Like, you know,
Yeah, she's got high taxes out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, she's like 200 grand. She
Yeah.
in 6 years of
6
fighting.
years.
Yeah, she definitely made more on Dancing with the Stars. I believe that a little more
No
easily
doubt, yeah.
because the majority of that pay is still coming from the UFC right now because she wasn't making squat in WEC. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
I
But
would
yeah,
like you to
all
try
right.
to pronounce this name for me real quick.
Oh, Volkan Ozdemir versus is it Yuri?
It's like Yuri
Yuri
I don't know, Prozaka?
Prozaka?
I don't know how to
I don't know. We're sorry we're butchering your name. Yuri, J-I-R-I.
I think it's Yuri. I
I
think
think it's Yuri.
He's a savage, though. I've been looking up a lot of his
He's
fights.
tough. He's
rising light
He's a
heavyweight
champ from Rising.
Yeah. His last 3 fights are against King Mo, CB Dalloway, and Fabio Maldonado, and he knocked all 3 of them out.
He knocked all. Those guys have chins. At least Maldonado has a chin.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of shots, but he's got a chin.
I think he retired King Mo.
Is that the guy? Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. This could be a tough fight. This is his first fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough fight right here.
He's 28-3.
He's got a lot of
I
experience
believe
too.
so. And 1 draw.
So he's been fighting over there in Risen for a minute now. The level of competition over there is suspect, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
Ozdemir is definitely a legitimate test. So we'll find out. Where does he train out?
Oh,
of, do you know?
26-3. I'm
He's
sorry.
26-3.
With 1 draw. He fights somewhere in Croatia. I don't even know how to say that.
He's Croatian.
I'm sorry. He's from the Czech Republic.
From the Czech Republic.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. But, yeah, dude, he looks like he's got hands. He's got a lot of knockouts. So.
Yeah, those 3 are pretty solid names. I mean,
And then Ozdemir's got one thing I think Ozdemir, and what I like about this fight is Ozdemir has a lot of UFC experience, and I really like to see where these guys are when they fight. Like, especially someone like this guy who's coming in as a light heavyweight, and light heavyweight, although about a year and a half ago had a lot of contenders. Now John's fought them all already again, and this guy's a fresh face. He's someone who can come in and make some noise. And I like how they didn't just feed him to like, I don't know, like I'm glad his fight wasn't against like Thiago Santos or someone like that.
Yeah.
Like Volkanovski is a guy who's had some real big highs in the division, but also some recent lows, and his UFC experience could get him over in this fight, but this also could be a big chance for this new guy to really put his name on the map with a big win over someone like Ozdemir.
Absolutely. It's a win-win for either guy. If Ozdemir wins and he needed a fight to kind of get his stuff rolling again, I'm a fan of that in the UFC. You just can't keep feeding these guys to the top all the time. Like, I think Chris Weidman's a good example of that.
Well, Ozdemir's a good example of that, though,
Ozdemir.
because he got beat by Daniel Cormier, and then he got beat by Dominic Reyes, and he got beat by, it was just a trickle-down effect. He was fighting everyone.
I'm saying he needs a
2,
fight
3,
like
4.
this.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think Weidman should take a fight like that.
Oh,
Instead,
yeah,
Weidman
yeah.
keeps wanting to fight killers all the time instead. Like, sometimes you need to
Which
fight
is-
a lower or unranked guy.
Which is a mental thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's realizing that maybe it's your confidence, like your confidence as when you fight. As long as some of these guys have been fighting, your confidence can't be on 100 always.
No,
You know what I mean?
they're human beings too, especially when you
Yeah.
take a lot of losses like he did. He was streaking up to the top of the division. I mean, they called it no
Ozdemir, too.
time.
Yeah, no
Ozdemir,
time. He was
then
knocking everybody out.
Then boom, a lot of losses. So
Yeah.
and it works out for Yuri because if he gets a win here, that's
Put
a
that
pretty
on.
decent entry into the division.
Yeah, he'll probably.
Yeah.
If he gets a win here, he'll probably debut about 6th or 7th in the division.
He could very well,
Yeah.
especially if it's an emphatic win. He comes out and knocks him out or some shit.
Yeah,
For sure.
without a doubt.
Well, there's several other fights on these cards, but these are kind of the highlights. Mm-hmm. We've got, 4 events
Over the next 4 weeks.
over the
in
next
Abu Dhabi.
4 weeks coming in from Yaz Island, Fight Island.
Is it all Saturday events, or is it like what it was in Jacksonville, where there's like fight nights there?
I think they're all Saturday events, to the best of my knowledge. I was kind of focused on...
Because I remember they did those ones when they first came back. They did like a Saturday, a Wednesday, a Saturday. It was weird.
Right.
I'm sure it's on the UFC website.
Yeah, they're putting out some pretty cool pictures on here. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how this goes. I like how they're quarantining everybody in this zone so no one has to wear masks and everything, from what I understand, right?
Yeah.
Because no outsiders are coming into this massive area, and everybody's getting tested on the regular. So then they don't have to keep, running the masks all the time.
Yeah, see? Next Wednesday is Qatar versus Ige.
Yeah, okay, and that's
Cater
a fight
Ige,
night,
I'm
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, fight night.
So we've got a Wednesday fight night with Qatar.
Cater, I'm sorry. I'm an
Cater.
idiot. Calvin
I just
Cater and
repeated
Danny Ige. Dude, and then the co-mains, Pedro Munoz versus Frankie Edgar.
I like that fight better. That should be the main, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever.
Carlos
I'm not mad at
Barza, Marina Rodriguez, Jared Gordon, Chris Fishgold.
Esparza got rescheduled for that. I think that fight's off, and it got rescheduled.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It got rescheduled for the 23rd, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, there's some Tim Elliott fighting again. Jesus.
Tim Elliott's been
He's fucking.
putting himself out there.
I'm saying, man, Jesus. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's that one, and then we got the Figueiredo Benavidez rematch coming up on the 18th, and then to close out Fight Island on Saturday, July 25th, we got Robert Whittaker taking on Darren Till.
The 25th, yeah, that's when Carlos Esparza's
Look how
fight
fucking
was
backed
rescheduled.
up the UFC website is. Fucking Robert Whittaker still has a belt around his fucking shoulder on every picture.
Can they not?
What are we
Do they
doing?
not have a tech team?
The
You don't have a
the
graphics
champ has
division?
already won and defended his belt since fighting Whittaker. Yeah, he still has the belt on him.
I don't
That's
understand
nuts.
that either. You could get that type of stuff done
Easy.
literally for like minimum wage. You don't want to pay it. You could outsource it on like Odesk.
Hey man, the
Newark or
UFC's
whatever
coming with
it's
some
called
fire
these
here,
days.
bro. Fucking on that Figueiredo Benavidez card, we got Jack Hermanson versus Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, that's a barn
fucking
burner
scrap.
right there.
Oh,
That's a fight.
damn.
No, these Fight Island cards are looking good, which they kind of have to be.
They have to, yeah.
This is not what we all expected it to be, but
It's not what we wanted or anybody wanted.
I'm happier because Dana kept saying we're buying a private island and building facilities, and I'm like, that's crazy. You're going to spend money
Can't
building
start
from
from
the ground
scratch.
up. You're going to You're going to build a hospital.
Yeah,
You're going to.
It was just an
You're not going to
unattainable
pay
goal.
your fighters. Like,
Yeah,
fuck paying John Jones to fight Francis Ngannou. I'm going to go build a hospital on a private island we just bought. I was so against it, man. But this, Yaz Island. Yes, it's technically an island, but like we're talking about a facility. It's going to be in an arena.
Not to mention on
a
that
hotel.
on that Robert Whittaker Darren Till card, we also have Fabricio Werdum versus Alexander Gustafsson. We'll just close it out on that.
Man,
That's a fucking fight right there.
That's a crazy fight right there. That's a fight that changes the game.
That's a
if
fight that could have
Gustafsson
been the main
wins.
event.
Oh, hell yeah, it could have.
Like,
Heck yeah, man.
those two are legends in the sport.
That's a tough comeback fight for Alex. I hope he wins here, though.
Is it though? Bulgoy fucking worked. Not Bulgoy. It was it Ivanov? Or, no, it was the Russian
Yeah, Werdum
cat.
didn't look good, but
He didn't look too good against
he's
him.
still Werdum, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's even like when you're fighting Fedor now, whereas Frank Mir versus Fedor, it's like, well, it's still Fedor,
He
though.
fucking smacks Frank Mir up. It's like, what just happened?
Right. I mean, Werdum could come out and win this fight.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't. I hope Gustafsson makes himself a presence at heavyweight.
I would like that. Yeah, that'd be fun to
That'd be
watch.
dope. We get some
Be
new
fun to
blood
watch.
in there. Yeah, I like it.
All
Well, that's the
right.
show, man. Hope you all are smoking on something good. Hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on WBUZ 95 on radio.net and the Orange Radio app on Thursdays at 8 p.m. here Central, 6 p.m. West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. You can get all that information plus our Spotify links, Apple links, everything else. Where?
SWATinvade.com, where you can head over to the shop button and grab yourself a t-shirt, support the podcast.
Thanks, everybody. Peace.
Peace.